What is up, everyone? Welcome to day 64. Damn, we reached a full stack, if you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you guys who don't know, basically, in Minecraft, a stack, like the max amount of anything you can have is 64. Anyways, today is actually very early. I'm recording this at 3 p.m., so I guess literally 12 hours after the other one. Reason being, I'll get into it. So anyways, yeah, woke up, been doing some work. I do have to leave in literally 2 hours to catch the train because I'm basically going back home for like today and then gonna come back tomorrow night. I have to go to like a wedding with my mom. So yeah, I'm gonna take the train, go wedding, I guess tomorrow morning, haircut. Look at this shit. I was actually thinking of getting a buzz cut. Let's be real, probably won't look that good compared to just hair like this. I don't know. I just had a random urge. Sometimes it's just like, it just feels like a whole reset to get to that next level. And I was like, I'm committed to getting to that next level. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I mean, it's not about that anyways. But, I don't know. We'll get a haircut tomorrow. Maybe I'll get it a little bit shorter. I think I should just keep it though, right? So yeah, haircut. And then again, gotta go somewhere with my mom. And then she'll drop me back tomorrow evening. Today, just 10 minutes before I recorded this video, signed an offer. So we, like, as you guys know, yesterday went to look for apartments, found one I really liked. We submitted like a half offer. I don't know, it was weird. Anyways, today we did the full one. Like, I just signed it, but I'm not sure. Like, I think like it's not confirmed yet or anything. So tomorrow's episode, I think you'll know if it's confirmed. That's very exciting. I think if it's confirmed. It's right now, it's not exciting. I'm on the edge because again, I only have here till Tuesday or Wednesday. So I really need to get this done ASAP, and it is a bit of a process, but yeah, very nerve-wracking. I think that's why I was feeling how I was feeling yesterday, and why I'm feeling how I'm feeling today. It's just, I guess the pressure starts to creep up on you when you make these big decisions, because it's like like when you look at these famous people or these really mega successful people, right? We always you always admire them, but you don't really sit down and think about what it took to get to that point and how they feel in those positions, right? Like, a lot of people talk about the downsides, or not downsides, but like a lot of celebrities, don't like to be like eventually it gets to the point where it's like annoying or frustrating to them, right? Like, some celebrities say like they don't like constantly being whatever. And I'm trying to think of it in the sense of like, every time you make a big strive in your life, I'm trying to relate it to that. Obviously, I'm not a celebrity, we're not celebrities, but I'm trying to make it make sense for us as entrepreneurs. I think like in business, it's almost the same thing. As you stride to get to the next point, there's like that, I guess that was a bad example, but there's like that extra sense of responsibility, of pressure that gets added on with, so like for like a rapper, right? As he becomes more popular, which is what he wants, he also gets more like people approaching him now. Some people, their life is more at risk. You know what I mean? So like there's like, yes, there's the initial like the win, which is the guy gets, the rapper is more successful. But then there's also other shit that comes along with it. But we don't look at the other shit. We always look at, well, not we, I hope, because we are smart individuals, right? We are consciously aware. But most people, they don't look at that. They just look at Elon Musk and they're like, billionaire. That's it. But they don't look at, the additional shit that comes with being a billionaire and being in his position, the responsibility, the power. There's always like Donald Trump, right? It's like, bro, yes, he's Donald Trump, but bro, he's like, maybe he's constantly living in fear, right? Who knows, right? Because there's so many people who want to, so I'm not Donald Trump. We're not rappers. It was a bad reference, but hopefully you understand what I mean. It's like when we, in our definition as entrepreneurs, get to that next level, then the next level of, we grow, we also have those things that come along with it that you guys might not think about, right? So it's like with having your own place, there's so much other shit that comes along with it. The responsibility, obviously having to, pay the rent, the groceries, utilities, like these are things that need to be done every single month, regardless of how your business does, right? Regardless of how things go. That's why, again, like other people look at, they look at the good sides, like, yeah, you make this much a month, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, there's also, you don't just get to that point. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's also that sense of, security, which it's hard to feel in business, right? I feel like unless it's interesting because it's like, dude, you can make a shit ton of money, but not elevating your life alongside of you making that money is borderline impossible, because the only reason you're striving to make more money for the most part is to elevate and change your life, right? So it's like, yeah, hypothetically, if I went back to how I was living 3 years ago, but making the money I made, I would have been, liquid way more richer. But like, would I have been richer? I mean, richer, is money defined by richness? No, it's by happiness. I would have lived a miserable life, and then what's the point? I'm not doing this to live a miserable life. And to some extent, I think that me spending money in things that make me happy and fulfill me ends up leading to making me making more money because I'm more fulfilled and happy. So it's like, it's interesting because you're always gonna feel that, right? Like, think about it. All these other young guys who buy like a Lambo, they have Lambo problems. They got Lambo bills. They got Lambo maintenance to pay. They're also upgrading their life in proportion to their situation, but they still feel the same way because of, you know, the gap, right? Or the responsibility, right? Because, like, for example, sometimes I think about this. It's like, okay, for me, let's say, okay, no, let's not even take me. I'm going to take one of you guys as an example. Let's say one of you guys right now makes $0 a month, okay? And you're living somehow based on that. Probably, maybe you're living at home and maybe you have a job, okay? Let's say you make two to 3K a month. You have a job. You're living at home. You spend accordingly. You eat accordingly. You live everything accordingly, but you're working, you're doing business, you're doing entrepreneurship because you want to change your life. And now let's say your YouTube channel, because that's what I do, let's say your YouTube channel starts to make $5,000 a month. Now you're making $7,000 a month. Now, does it really make sense for you to go to that job? No, you're going to quit that job, right? And naturally, sorry, getting a call. Okay, and naturally, now that you're making $5,000 a month working from home, it's like, okay, now you can start to spend on food a little better because, you know, you want food. Now you can do things that you couldn't do because now you have the capacity to do them. So in reality, it's like, yes, your life has improved significantly and you're making 2 times more money, but you're also going to start spending like 2 times more money. And yeah, that's like some people say it's a trap, but again, like I said, I'm reading the book of The Art of Spending Money, and I think like everything from everybody's perspective makes sense, right? If you're somebody who lived your whole life in like, you know, middle class or lower middle class where you barely go out to eat, you barely got to do all this cool shit, and now you're finally making money and you do all that shit, and like other people are like, oh no, you should spend all your money. It was like, no, dimwit, you don't understand what I went through, right? Just because you're fucking brought up in a rich household, you did all that shit as a kid, so you think it's easy now to save money. Well, it's like, no, you don't know what I went through. You don't know what I want in life, right? So it's like, that's why, you know, somebody knock on my door. Okay, I think we're good. That's why you never want to, you know, nobody's ever going to understand the decisions you make, and they don't have to. Just be smart. And anyways, what I was referring to is, like, yeah, like, I guess that's why I've been yesterday again. The past week was great. I was mentally headspace, locked in, grounded, present, focused. And yeah, yesterday again, it got to me. It always does. It's a cycle. We know it, right? It always comes back. And it's probably just because of this big decision, this quantum leap in my journey. Like, to me, this is a big fucking deal. Again, to somebody else, maybe to you guys, it might not be, but to me, it is, right? Like, it's something I've been working towards, something I will show you guys on my affirmations that I read every single day. I have a list of like 20 things that I wrote in July of 2025 of how I want my life to look like in the next 3 to 5 years. And one of the things was I will have my own apartment in downtown Toronto. I don't know why I wrote that at the time. I had no desire to. I wrote it. I subconsciously, maybe I did. I don't know. And since then, by the way, from July, I was looking to move to like 5 different cities, 5 different places. Toronto was never even an option initially. And now it's happening. It's fucking real. So whether you believe it or not, to me, it's fucking surreal. I read that shit to myself every day. I still do. I still look at myself in the mirror every day and I read all those things. And one of those things very specifically is happening. It already happened. I'm here. It's insane to me. So anyways, I think that's why yesterday I was just starting to feel like that pressure creep up of like, you know, more responsibility, more growth, and just, you need to continue, right? We as entrepreneurs, we can't stop. You can't, if you stop, the moment you stop, you can tarnish a lot of growth, right? It's all about momentum, especially in business. It's all about momentum. When shit works, you really want to make use of it, right? Like if you're doing YouTube, if there's a trending topic, niche, whatever, you want to capitalize on it. If you're doing dropshipping, when there's a product that's popping off, you want to capitalize on it, right? Fuck the emotions, lock in. So anyways, I saw this great thing on Twitter as well today, and I really read it twice, but it was like, you feeling behind isn't a like negative thing. I forgot the exact words they used, but it isn't a negative thing that you feel behind. And it's actually a good thing because it is a fuel that is required for you to thrive. If you didn't feel behind, then you wouldn't wake up every day with that, you know, fire to go further, to catch up. Yes, you may never catch up. And yes, there's a, you know, you got to find that peace somewhere. But at the same time, if you had no fire, you'd burn out, right? You'd just be stagnant. And as we know, if something's not growing, it's dying. So if you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys, just like me, we always feel behind. It's ironic because you will constantly feel behind. You'll never feel ahead. You'll always feel behind. And the thing we should all work towards is finding the balance, which I think I'm getting a lot closer to as I make these videos, as I learn these things, as I really think about these things, of like feeling behind and, you know, using that as motivation, and, you know, constantly being locked into the next step, and also just being grounded and happy with where you are. So right in the middle, that baby in between of them, you know, so like, you know, We don't want to be utterly just living in despair that you're so behind, I'm so behind, I'm so behind. You know, I hate my life. You don't want to live like that. You also don't want to live like, oh, my life's good. I don't know if I can need to do anything. I'll just wake up and just live how I'm living. You don't want that. Both those are horrible. We want in the middle. I'm fucking locked in. I want to get to the next step. I want to continue growing. I want to continue pushing, you know, looking at these other people. Yes, they're younger than me or whatever. They're further than me, and I want to catch up. It's motivating me. And also, like, I'm very grateful. I'm very blessed. I'm very happy to be in the position I'm in, and you know, to live the rewards of my hard work. And I want to continue to do that. That is the perfect place to be. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to work to get to that point. And that comes with being both. That comes with days of just chilling and being content. And there comes with days of grinding, but always being conscious about choosing to find that middle ground. And yeah, that's, I guess, what it is for me. So I'm going to be super locked in. I guess maybe that, you know, finally actually moving to my new place is going to be like, you know, fully no furniture, nothing, and being able to build it over time, work hard, achieve more. I think that will help a lot. And yeah, just it's interesting because, you know, you don't need to know the path forward. You know, I'm saying this, like, Twitter's like a fucking, like, yes, it's motivational, but that's kind of how it all starts. Like, I go on Twitter, I see this fucking 18-year-old doing like 100K a day on like drop shipping, or I see a guy on YouTube who had like 100K a month, and of course you feel behind. Of course I'm gonna feel like a little get in my head about like, shit, dude, like, what, I'm